just back from 4 weeks vacation. And I'm really looking forward to talking to Dina and talking about the importance of being a published author. Now, Dina, I'm a published author, and what I will say is it's the most brilliant business card.
Yes.
Whenever you go to a meeting, it's an absolutely amazing business card. Now, the first question I always ask people, and I forgot to prep you this before we went live because I was talking about other things, was where can people find you?
You can find me on my website, dinamarais.com. You can also find me on Facebook as Dina Marais. I'm on every social
You're on
media,
LinkedIn.
everywhere as Dina Marais. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Dina. So as I said, I'm a published author, and it is just amazing going into meetings and sliding the book up across the desk and saying, "Any questions?"
What an opening line.
and you get so much credibility about whether the book is any good or not. Obviously, mine is amazing, but there's so much credibility. But this is about you. So first question is, what are the benefits of being a published author? Why on earth would we do that?
Well, as you just said, it becomes your luxury business card, number one. And it's also a vehicle for you to leave your legacy. There are so much on social media, and we are actually overwhelmed by all the information that's coming at us. And even if you write the most precious, wonderful piece of writing on social media, the moment you hit enter, the next second there's something else.
Yeah, it's gone.
So by having your wonderful expertise in a book, it makes it tangible. It is something that you can hand out to people. And you know how many people's families don't even know exactly what they do. So this is such a beautiful, beautiful way to share with your clients, your potential clients, your family, anywhere that you come in contact with. Besides that, of course, it skyrockets your credibility. Because anyone who can go through the process of actually putting your expertise on paper and writing about your journey deserves that credibility. Because I think about 1% of people do that. And you really become an authority in your niche as well, because you stand out. There is a lot of noise online, so much. And this is a wonderful way to stand out. And it's also to claim for yourself that authority and credibility. And apart from that, it gives you an amazing confidence in your business. When you're writing, you think, oh, well, I actually know what I'm doing, kind of thing. You can also brings prosperity. You can increase your prices. You can create a beautiful, exclusive mastermind or program on that book of yours, or even a chapter in a multi-author book. I think that's about an amazing benefits already.
Yeah, I mean, I can vouch for all that. I mean, I remember going through the process in my own mind of saying, I need to position myself, and I need to be an authority in that area. I decided I wanted to be famous for social selling, and I realized that I needed to have a book that seems to be. It was part of the part of the process I needed to go through. And there are things that I will get. I mean, I got one when I was away. Can you come and speak at an event? And I have no idea where that's come from. But you will get people ask you to be speakers, and in the States, not so much in Europe, but in the States, where you generally will get paid for speaker work, the payment is sort of related to how many book sales you've got.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's a certain amount of in the States. I didn't know this, and there's a certain hierarchy. There's a certain hierarchy in terms of people, but there's also this hierarchy in terms of how many books you've published and how many they've sold. Therefore, how much you can be asking for. You know, whether you ask for $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, or $20,000 to speak. The book quite often is related to that, to how much you can. So you know, in the States, you know, you can become. I know people who all they do is speak.
Yeah,
and
easily.
and I mean, if you're getting, you know, a friend of mine, he gets $20,000 for speaking, and he speaks once a month.
What a beautiful side income.
Um,
Amazing.
so yeah, I mean, it's not a bad income, and that's, you know, off the back of understanding of having books and stuff.
Yes, and as you know, Tim, you know, when you become an international best-selling author or a best-selling published author, um, that status also gives you entry into higher level podcasts and
Yes.
summits. And those doors would have been closed before because you're a nobody. But now that you are a best-selling published author, people do actually take note.
Yeah, so I've been, my third book was published in November of last year, and I've been on 50 podcasts since then.
Wow.
And they're podcasts where I've gone to people and said, I've got a new book, I want to come on your podcast. And in most cases, people say, you know, the fact that you've got a book is validation that you've got something to talk about. And obviously, you may not be a very good talker, but there's a certain validation. But again, that's your opportunity to get your message out, and that message, part of what you're selling, but it's also part of of who you are. It's your personal brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a book definitely gives you that expanded exposure of your personal brand. It is really something that you can build on and you can leverage that. That for me is important for what many entrepreneurs don't do is they often write the book and then they just okay, it's there now, but they don't leverage it. And I think that is such an important component.
I agree. I've seen people that have seen the book as, I'm going to write a book and then I'm going to go and do something else, and not realizing that the book is in effect. So I've written in when we did our preparation call, I've written the word gatekeeper down, and I'm trying to work out why I've written the word gatekeeper. But in a way, it's a what the book unlocks certain things, and which is the speaker engagements, further books, for people saying, "Can you come and talk to our organization about this?" You know, I've gone to organizations and spoken at sales kickoffs or certain meetings where I'm just talking to that company, and this is all paid for.
Yeah.
And the book is unlocking that, because the people are saying, we've gone out to the marketplace and found the expert on this subject, and he is going to come and talk to you about it. And whether
Yes.
your expertise is supply chain or bookcases or whatever, that book is that key to unlock that additional recognition and visibility and maybe money.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. It's not just to have, you know, thousands of followers everywhere. You've got to actually give a little bit more concreteness to that. And one way, because as we know, you know, you can be very well known on social media, and something happens, and you know, your account is closed or taken off or whatever. And if you don't have anything to sort of substantiate who you are and your expertise, then you actually start from scratch. But if you have a book, then you've got something that you say, okay, well, but I am a best-selling published author.
Yes, I think that people don't realize that LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, your base is rented space.
Yeah.
And I had a friend the other day that contacted me and he said, "Can we connect?" I said, "We've been connected for." He says, "I've had my account hacked. I've lost everything." And I think he had like 5,000 contacts on LinkedIn or something. But I mean, I felt sick.
Yeah.
Because I said, God, if I, if you lose everything and you've got to start again. But as you say, if you've got a published author, I've actually written the forward for his book. It's the book gives you that authority. So, question for you: self-publishing versus a publisher.
Okay, so of course you can go and self-publish. I mean, there's enough data on everywhere that you can self-publish. And that really is a choice, versus often time and money. If you've got the time, then definitely go and do the research and spend the time to actually do that for yourself. And make sure that you know what you're doing in terms of the categories and the keywords for people to actually find your book. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. For people to actually find you and find your book. That's the one thing. The other thing is, many people who publish a book, can you believe this?
They're probably ringing you up saying, you're currently doing a podcast.
I'm so sorry about that. And if you use an independent publisher like myself,
they're desperate to get through to you.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me just see if I can put my phone off. Because you don't think that.
As I said, they're desperate to say, "I can see you. You're currently you're currently live on LinkedIn."
Yeah, but I mean that is really ridiculous.
I remember seeing somebody being interviewed on BBC TV and their phone rang during the interview, and it was somebody basically saying, "I'm seeing you're being interviewed on TV at the moment," and they phoned them during the interview.
Oh, that is so ridiculous. But anyway, let's hope they got the message that I'm not available at the second.
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying we were talking about independent publisher versus self-publishing. So if you want somebody to hold your hand and to do it for you, and of course, someone like me, guarantee best-selling published author, if you want that for yourself, and just make things much easier for you. In other words, you write your book and the rest is taken care of for you. So the editing, the cover, the formatting of the book, the uploading of it, there's a lot of time going into that. And the other thing that's important is the research on the title. Is it really, I think it's somebody trying to come in my gate. Is it really a good title? Forgive me for.
Yes. So the title that I had for my first book was "Hacking the Buying Process," and the publisher said, "No, that's rubbish." And thankfully they came up with something which was far more recognizable. And that was what they wanted to have, was a book title that was in effect SEO. So if someone was going to go to Google and say, "I've got this problem, is there a book?" my book would be found.
Yes. So those are the things that, someone that is a publisher, of course, know about and can actually do the research for you and say, yeah, you've got a great idea of your book, but the title is not going to work. So let's change the title, let's change the subtitle, make sure you've got the right keywords. Make sure you've got a very optimal book description that stands out on that gets people already hooked when they actually come across your book. So these are the added benefits of a publisher, just making your life easy, and you don't have to worry about the editing and all of that. Things that's all taken care of.
I think that I think the editing is a really good point, Dina, which is that um, I'm not sure that there's anybody that could really say that they were an amazing writer and an understanding of grammar. You know, we all write. Well, many of us write with typos, etc. And I think that the editing process is one where one, you have someone that can challenge you in terms of, is what you're writing correct, factually correct, and also challenge you in terms of, or help you in terms of what you're writing, and making sure that it's coming out in terms of it's making sense.
It's making sense.
And I'm not saying that everybody is rubbish at writing. I'm just saying that none of us are actually. We're not, you know, we're not all Ernest Hemingway.
Exactly. I think even he had an editor.
Yeah, he probably did, and he wrote in short sentences, which is what which actually might be applicable for today. But that ability of actually having that second set of eyes to work with you as you write. For me, the editing process was a case of the stuff would come back, and it was like, did I write that? Wow, that's actually quite good.
Yeah.
And that process, the editing process, I found really it was great, because they turned my thoughts that I was putting down on paper and into something that was actually far more readable.
Far more readable, and they also help with with the structure
Mm,
of the book as well. As you say, it's just when we write, we are so in it, and
yes.
it is just so valuable to have someone else look at it from a different perspective, from a reader perspective, to see will it make sense to the audience. And I just absolutely value editors. I think they are really, really wonderful.
I've written in my notes, start habit to write.
Yeah.
Is this about how do we start? If I wanted to go away and start writing a book, I'm guessing your advice is about to start the habit of writing.
Yes. And what we talked about then is that I have a write your story workshop,
Right.
and it's to write your story, the journey of your story in 7 days. And the whole idea behind the workshop is to cultivate the habit to start writing.
Mm.
That is to set that an hour or even half an hour a day. Set apart, because that habit, if you blink, your book is half written. But we sometimes are so overwhelmed by thinking, oh my gosh, like 50,000 words, when am I ever going to finish that? And it's like the proverbial eating the elephant spoon by spoon. It's really a bit a day. And if you can get into that habit, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Yeah, and I think I've actually just come off a call from somebody that said, I'm thinking of writing a book. Can I pick your brain, Tim? And I said, because my books are 60,000 words. I said, so it's 60,000 words. That's 10 chapters at 5,000 words. Sorry, that's 12 chapters at 5,000 words each. That's a lot of writing.
It's a lot of writing.
And therefore, so what we went through was, I said, you need to come up with a structure. And you need to come up with your titles for each of those chapters. That's the first thing you need to do. And I said, don't worry about how you're going to write the 5,000 words per chapter. That's what you're going to think about tomorrow. But that's a structure. But there again, that must be, coming up with 50,000 words, 60,000 words. There's a lot of words about a particular subject.
It is a lot of words, but you know what's really important, as you say, when you set out your outline of the book about the different chapters, and then for everyone, besides the title of the chapter, is to really add a few bullet points about what is the outcome. What do you want? How do you want them to move along? Because
Hmm.
writing a book is often like creating a coaching program, it's often like creating anything. It's got a storyline that takes the reader through as they so that they can progress to the ultimate outcome of the book. And it's to when you define that, that's a great start. And of course, as you start writing, as you know, things come up. Oh, I must talk about this as well, and I must talk about that. And then to keep note of that, because you're going to slot that in where, in the appropriate places.
Hmm.
It's just to start.
Dina, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. I've tried to keep quiet, because this is about you rather than about me. But I've unfortunately, I've kind of talked probably about as much as you, and I didn't mean to. I hopefully what I said was added some value.
Well, Tim, it has been a pleasure. And what's really great? It was a nice conversation.
Good, Dina.
Also, not nice just for some one person to talk all the time.
Okay, Dina, remind people where they can find you.
You can find me at my website, dinamarais.com. Also on Facebook, Dina Marais, LinkedIn, Dina Marais, Instagram, Coach Dina Marais. You'll find me. If you look at my face, and you'll see me on all the. And of course, my email is dina@dinamarais.com.
Fantastic. Dina, thank you so much for coming on and talking about it. It's, for anybody out there that wants to become influencer or influencing certainly in business to business, a book has got to be a step on that journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And can I just say, Tim?
Yes.
I'm busy at the moment with my second or my third, actually, multi-author book.
Okay.
And it's called My Mess is My Message. And it's volume 2 of that. The first volume was such a hit. And the subtitle is Inspiring Stories of Incredible Women Who Found Purpose and Prosperity Through Adversity. So if
Okay.
any of the listeners, if this resonates with you, you would like to contribute a chapter and become an international best-selling author, then be sure to contact me.
That sounds like a great opportunity. So anybody out there, go through that again. So you're looking for someone who's going to write a chapter, which is how many words?
3,000.
3,000 words about how
about your journey.
Yeah.
As your hero's journey as a coach, a healer, an entrepreneur, of how you got where you are now and how you're helping people.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dina, for coming on, and hopefully we'll get some people to contact you as well.